Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. RDR, Reinier De Ridder, is staying so active. He called out Sean Strickland, but he gets Robert Whittaker instead. The UFC had just announced RDR is taking on the returning Robert Bobby Knuckles Whittaker, and what a fight. What a contrast of styles. The points these two guys are in their career, with RDR just breaking into the UFC, stolen all of Bo Nickal's hype. And with Robert Whittaker coming off one of the tougher losses in the back end of his career against Chimaev, his shit was all fucked in his mouth. I don't know what was wrong, if his jaw was broken. I think he said that that's not the case and it was like a pre-existing injury, but regardless, that was a really, really bad loss. And when we get this fight announced, I think Robert Whittaker has some of the best takedown defense the middleweight division has ever seen. Like, his two fights with Yoel Romero, the first one especially, if you guys haven't seen the takedown defense he put on display, go back and watch that, because Bobby Knuckles, he's so hard. Even when you get to the hips, like, his balance and his ability to just keep moving through the positions is nuts, man. And I know Chimaev took him down, but that's Chimaev. I think the physicality between Chimaev and Reinier De Ridder are two very different things. Now, I know RDR will mix everything together, and the pace he puts on is really wild. But this is a 5-round fight, so you have to wonder how that's going to affect his pacing, because the pace he showed against Bo Nickel, I don't think he's going to come in and fight Robert Whittaker like that. I don't think he can, because he'll get D'd up for the first 5 minutes, and then I think Whittaker will start to pick him apart. I think it's a tough fight for Reinier De Ridder, being totally honest. Like, stylistically, I know Bobby Knuckles is, it's the coming and going, this matchup. Like, Reinier De Ridder, he's not a young gun. He spent a lot of time outside the UFC. He's a veteran himself, but he's just now breaking into the UFC. The momentum is on his side. Whereas Bobby Knuckles, I think it's fair to say that this is the later end of his career, and his time holding a middleweight title is probably behind us. I don't know if that question has been answered yet for Reinier De Ridder. So just stylistically, Bobby Knuckles with that takedown defense, like I said, like, RDR's not really shooting double legs. He likes to do a lot of his work from the clinch, which I think he can be crafty there. I think he can be crafty in the clinch against Bobby Knuckles, and will have to use sweeps, upper body control, body locks to leg sweeps to get Whittaker down. And RDR is a massive middleweight. Like, the guys fought up at 205. He's a huge middleweight. He looked a lot bigger than Bo Nickel. And I know Whittaker's not a small middleweight either, but I think RDR could potentially be the stronger of the two athletes. If Whittaker can keep his distance, I think he's going to completely tee up RDR in the striking ranges. Like, I think we're going to see that signature 1-2 head kick, just because his dart-ins in and out, unless you're a really, really calculated striker yourself, like an Adesanya, or you're just a bulldozer like Dricus du Plessis, I think that in and out darting style has a real big impact on these guys, and it is super hard to fight. You saw he KO'd Ikram Aliskerov not too long ago, man, and that was in and out, beautiful too. And I think he can catch Reinier De Ridder with something similar. I think the big central question about this fight is if Reinier De Ridder can get this thing in the clinch and get it to the ground, because although he's pretty crafty on the feet, Whittaker's A, craftier, and B, has a lot more danger. Like, cracks way harder, has knocked a lot more people out, and just generally looks for that a lot more. Like, looks to damage and hurt his opponents. Whereas Reinier De Ridder, obviously he hurt and damaged Bo Nickel, but there's a difference there in the sort of strikes that are getting thrown, and the mentality behind it. But don't get me wrong, like I said, it's a coming and going. RDR has all of the momentum, but this is a massive step up in competition. And I know a lot of people are probably going to write off Robert Whittaker like they've done before. Just obviously based on his last result, his age, everything he's already done in this middleweight division. But yeah, stylistically, I think if Bobby Knuckles shows up and he's, healthy and they're ready to fight and he hasn't regressed too much, he should win this fight. Let me know what you guys think. I know RDR is so hot right now, and don't get me wrong, he's one of my favorite fighters in the UFC. And so is Whittaker. Like, this is a fight where two guys I really like are going to, fight each other, and it's probably going to end in some carnage. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, I would really, really appreciate that. And we will chat soon.